You need to create that home, that community. And if there are friends or people around you who are not feeding your inner soul, they're not part of your home. They don't belong there. They don't belong that close to you. Don't give up your excellence. You have something real powerful in here. You know what you need. You don't settle for nothing. Create your own home, the home you want.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Reading Talk. I am your most gracious host, Miss Sasha, and with Real Reading Talk, I discuss the real systemic issues that are at the very core, the very foundation, as to why we have these high levels of illiteracy in our Black and underserved communities, and the ways in which we can combat these issues together. Hey, y'all, guess what? As you all see on the screen, I have two beautiful, amazing, phenomenal women here with me today. And they are my co-authors. That's right. All three of us, y'all. Yes. We have joined forces, y'all, in writing a dope book, okay, about us being healed, empowered, resilient. Let me go ahead and just grab it off the shelf real quick. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. See how in sync we are? I didn't even have to say nothing. I didn't have to say nothing. And it just had it ready. You know what I mean? So, yes. So without further ado, y'all, it's time for the introductions, okay? So first, I am going to introduce Miss Valerie Drew. Welcome, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me to the show. I mean, Seisha, it has been amazing. The journey, as you know, was fab. Like, I can't even articulate how fabulous it was, but it was really fabulous. It was painstaking, and we spent a lot of hours together. And I just can't believe how long it took us to, design that little crown on the book.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, the journey. Oh man, it was definitely like all of those things you said and even more, right? But again, as we saw, everybody saw, right? This is the finished product and we are about to dive into well, the foundation of that, where that came from. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce my other beautiful guest on the screen, okay? She, again, like I said, co-author as well, doing her thing. Mrs. Christy Cruz-Cullins. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Yes,
Hope
yes.
everybody's well. I'm so excited to be here. I think my co-authors are phenomenal women. And so I'm excited about just diving into the chat and see what comes out of our conversation together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're about to really dive in and just have a great conversation about, first, I always like to start off with a little background, right? So I like people to know, about my guests, you know what I'm saying? So without further ado, we're going to start with Miss Valerie Drew. And
Uh-oh.
I would love for you to share with the audience where you are from, a little bit about your family background, share some of that with us, please.
Absolutely. Born and raised in Newark, a product of Newark, New Jersey Public School District. Grew up in a very hardworking family, mom, dad, grandparents, aunts, uncles, lots of cousins. So a very big family. I have siblings, brothers and sisters. So, it was always someone around. So a lot of community. Education is always at the core of everything that we did in our household. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had a lot of wealth. And by that, what I mean is we learned how to do everything, right? Like as a girl, I learned how to fix cars. My brothers learned how to cook and sew. So we did it all. There was no, you're a girl and you're frilly and you can't do it. It was no, you are going to be a woman and you must know how to manage things and do things and take care of money and run a house. And if you want to drive a car, you need to know how a car works and how to fix it and how to change a tire. So my pops didn't play that. I mean, yes, we were his princesses and all of that, but we got down and dirty sometimes. There were some times when we had to get out there, change that tire with Pops, and then come in the house, wash our hands, and cook dinner with Mom and Grandma. So that's me.
Whoa, when you
That's
said,
pretty dope.
I know, right? You learn. Come on. Oh my goodness. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. This right here, this is why we was meant to be together, right? This is why we're together, because see, y'all need to hear and see these women who are doing amazing things. And that right there, that just gave me some chills, right? I'm like, what in the heck? You know, it's like, all right, okay, let's grow. So let's stay there though with the education piece, because again, of course, this podcast is all about promoting literacy and about, helping to eradicate the high levels of illiteracy in our communities. So what was it a thing where your parents, did they read aloud to you? Did you grow up with like having books all around you? Tell us about that literacy foundation.
Yeah, definitely. So my parents' thing was you read to them. So there was always a book at night, and my youngest brother hated to read. My sister loved to read. My brothers were my older siblings were really smart, and I had to study a lot just to get a B. So for me, I had to stay at it and stay at it and stay at it. And as I continued studying and doing things, and at night reading the book to my parents before I went to bed, I got better at it. Math was always my thing. So after high school, I went to college and became an engineer. Then I did graduate school, and then I went on to Wall Street. And you guys know now I'm doing my doctorates in artificial intelligence at the American Military University. So I never stopped learning. I never stopped growing. You always grow. But in addition to doing all the book stuff, I also learned how to take care of my house. So as a homeowner, if you don't know how to do anything, you're going to go broke. So you need to learn how to paint. You need to learn how to do minor fixes like changing a washer, right? Like on your faucet. You need to know how to turn off the water. If you have a leak, you need to know how to lay down a floor. You just need to know how to do things. So it's important, because you live in the world, you need to know about the world around you and how it works. And you need to know how to do basic things. And one thing I've learned is that even the bookshelves that's behind me, you pick up the instructions, you read the instructions step by step. So the fundamental basis of reading helps you learn things that you don't know. And guess what? You're not afraid to learn anything. Nothing becomes impossible because you break it down and it's step by step.
That
I love that.
No, right? The way you broke that down, explained everything. And then it's just the empowerment piece. I think, to me, what I really gather from you and your upbringing is that your parents were intentional about making sure you all were empowered. And like you said, it wasn't a gender thing. You said brothers and sisters. And
yes,
to me, that right there, this is the kind of conversations that I want our community to hear, especially too, coming from a community where we understand what it looks like to be considered quote unquote inferior, and you all don't have this and all of these types of things. And it's like, no, we have the power as parents, just like your parents did for you and your siblings. They said, hey, no, you all are going to learn this, this, and this. And then breaking down the fact of how reading is so important, because when it comes to building, when it comes to something as simple as putting together a bookshelf, because I'm about to tell on myself right now, y'all. I would be that sister who I'll just be like, I'll get the stuff out the box. I'm like, okay. And I'm just trying to figure it out on my own. And I'm like, and then even, I'm telling on myself, y'all, even my kids, even though I promote literacy, all of that, my kids have to get on. My son, he'd be like, mommy, we gotta, let's look at these instructions. I know it may look like you know what you do. Let's go ahead. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, son. Let me go ahead and read step by step. So,
right.
I love it. Oh my goodness, I appreciate this. Now let's do a segue into you, in terms of, did you always want to become an author before we joined forces with our authors masterclass?
Well, I tell you, I never really thought about becoming an author as much as I thought about just the fact that I always wrote. So I was the type of person who would journal a lot. And I did a lot of presentations for work and for the nonprofit organization, a lot of community stuff. And so I was always presenting, I was always putting together learning materials and coursework and brochures about coursework and writing up things. Um, and so it just came natural when I was asked by Asia to partner with all of you beautiful ladies to write this book. And I said, I do have a few chapters to write about, but what? Which one?
Mm.
What do I say? And I just felt obligated and responsible to write about something that would be actionable by the readers of the book that will also help them and help them grow. Like, what did I want to leave with them? I not only wanted to share with them a window into my world, but I wanted to give them a roadmap of tools in their arsenal that they can use in every aspect of their life, like understanding what are the most important things in your life. And then how do you go about making sure that you strengthen areas that need strengthening and just keeping yourself motivated, right? Because we have to motivate ourselves. And then understanding where our strength comes from. No matter what you go through, no matter how together you think you are, there will always be something that hits you. And what's so important, my father would always say, just keep moving forward. If don't let anything stop you or make you, stagnate in what you need to do in your life. Like, no matter what happens, keep moving forward. Sometimes people get stuck and then you have dreams that you wanted to achieve that you never achieved because this happened to you and that happened to you. Guess what? Things happen. I'm not going to say the other word, but it happens. So you need to know to keep moving forward. You could be healthy today, sick tomorrow. How are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? Are you going to let it stop you? So I wanted to be intentional with the story that I shared. And I shared several stories, things that I've done, people who were in my life who I thought were going to be my ride and die, and then how it turned against me and how it really impacted me, like the core of me, to the point where I felt stuck, but I still kept moving forward based on, the words that my father said to me, keep moving forward. And then that roadmap of how do you move forward? When stuff happens to you, yeah, it's one thing to say, keep moving forward, but knowing how to move forward is important. And the way you know how to move forward is because you have a plan. You have a plan. And so I tell everyone, always know what you want and definitely know what you don't want. You may not know the details of what you want, but you know the vision and the dream of what you want. You know you don't want this over here, and you know you want something like that over there. So you just have to figure out the steps to get to there. And you're going to go left and go right. You're going to shift this way and shift that way, but just keep moving.
Excellent. I mean, there's nothing really to add to that. I mean, I really appreciate number one, again, just how your mind and how it was cultivated from your parents in terms of that empowerment, and not just having this independence where you're like, I can do everything on my own, but
I don't even try. I don't even try. I know my foundation. I know God is at my foundation, and I know what my limits are. In my chapter, and I just got to talk about it.
I was going to go there. Tell everybody the title of your chapter.
The first thing I talk about in my chapter is keep moving forward, and then I talk about defining home.
What's the title? Tell everybody the title of your chapter.
So my title. Okay, so the title of my chapter, I close the book on chapter 10, and the title of my chapter is Keep Moving Forward, the Game Plan.
Come on.
Okay. And so one of the first things that I talk about is believe in excellence because we all are excellent. We're made of God. So that's first. So you already have the excellence within you. It's just all this negativity from around the world and everything else that's, pulling the wrong thing out. So believe in your own excellence first and keep moving forward. And the first thing you need to do is to define what is home for you. So the first thing I defined for my home was the key factor in my life, period, full stop. Right? It was from where I pulled my strength. It was where my parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, crazy cousins, and my best friends were, and there was no place like it. So that right there is my foundation. So anything that is going to challenge my home or try to interrupt my home, gotta go. You're out. Home comes first. That is it. That is my foundation. That's where it starts. That's where I get replenished. Yes.
I want to.
Miss Valerie, you got me. Okay, you got me.
Literally, y'all, listen. And again, I'm having the authors come on here of our dope book, Healed, Empowered, Resilient. Okay, come on, Christy, hold it up. Yes, indeed. Because I wanted everybody to get the backstory. I wanted people to know about these phenomenal, remarkable women and where they were coming from, their headspace, their mindset, as it pertains to them writing their chapter. I want to end with this because I want to, of course, have time to talk to Christy, right? So my question is, though, what about that person who's listening and they did not have that home that you speak of, the home that you were raised in with that solid foundation and that empowerment? What would you say in terms of them reading your chapter, how it can help them? Because they did not have that home life, right? What can they draw from your chapter to help them get over these setbacks that they're dealing with?
Absolutely. So the turning point was when my mother became terminally ill, and we were around her bedside in the hospital every day. So that disrupted everything. So you have to, and talking about recovering from something like that when it was your foundation is beyond almost impossible. I'm still choking up now, and it's been more than 30 years. It is important that you create your own sense of home wherever you are. Even when, as a child, if you go away to college, you need to create that home, that community. And if there are friends or people around you who are not feeding your inner soul, they're not part of your home. They don't belong there. They don't belong that close to you. Don't give up your excellence. You have something real powerful in here. You know what you need. You don't settle for nothing. Create your own home, the home you want. You may not be able to create your home as a child because you may be under someone else, but when you get out from underneath them, you create that home that you want. And home can be a home of one person in the house, but you can have community and friends and other like-minded people and individuals who are going where you're going. And don't take crap from people. Do not take crap. If it is derailing your home, if it is shrinking you as a person, they're not part of your home. They're not. So make sure you define the difference between family, friends, co-workers, and allies. Most people in life are allies. They're only with you because they can ride with you to get what they want. And when they are no longer getting what they want, they go away. Think about countries at war. When two countries want something, they will group together and go to war together and fight. Think of World War II with the US and Russia. Now look at US and Russia now, right? Though they were allies then, done with you now. So most people in your life will be allies, and know the difference between family, which is your home, versus co-workers who was working on a specific project versus allies who's working on a big task to get something done.
So I hope that you are enjoying this episode of Real Reading Talk. And I just want to remind you, your girl is an author. That's right, a co-author of this book here, Her, Healed, Empowered, Resilient. I had the chance to be a part of an amazing author's masterclass. All right. So, me and these remarkable women have come together to share our stories of how different challenges, setbacks, different things that we've had issues with in our childhood, all types of things that you can think of. These were the things that we were able to overcome, push through, and persevere. We are sharing our story here in this book. And of course, again, like I always remind you, when we talk about issues, it's not about staying stuck. And that's why this book was written. We don't want you to stay stuck. We didn't want to stay stuck. We're tired of that stuff. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So that's why we said we are going to share our stories, because we want to empower our young women as well as our wise women. This is the book that you need in your vault. If any of these things you have issues with, any of these things resonate with you, you feeling like you don't love yourself, you're feeling like nobody is listening to me, you can't get past the trauma that was induced upon you as a child, this book is what you need in your home. Please go to Amazon and purchase your copy. If you are ready to heal, if you are ready to be empowered, if you are ready to tap into your resilience, then Her is the book that you need. All right. So now you can go back and enjoy the rest of the episode. All right. Woo, y'all, you dropping it. You dropping it. That's what I'm talking about. Here we go. Here we go. Hey,
You're speaking gems. You're speaking gems. Okay. Okay.
This right here should be enticing you all right now to grab your copy of the book that's on Amazon right now. Yes. Yeah. Bam. Okay. Whoop.
Come right look for the crown. Look for the crown.
Look for the crown.
Yes.
Look for the crown. I love it.
We worked hard for that crown, okay?
Okay. Yes, we did. Well, I appreciate you, Val. I am now, as you know, about to have the stage shared with you by the one, the only Mrs. Christy Cruz-Cullins. Oh, let's get it. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are so
thank you.
welcome. And so, yep, like how
go ahead. No, you got it. You got it.
Yes. Let's do this. Let us find out about you. Where you from? You know, your family background, all of that great stuff.
All right. So, I am Christy. I am originally from Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. I was born and raised there in the 80s. And so the neighborhood at the time, although there has been some major changes, it was underpoverished at the time that I lived there. And I come from a single teenage parent household. My mother was a single parent. I am one of two children. Just to give you a little background, my mother in the early 80s, when she learned that I had cerebral palsy, she did not take that well. And till today, she still does struggle with the idea that I'm an adult, still utilizing a wheelchair to, navigate the world. And I think that extends from some of the mental health challenges that she experiences. But at 21, I managed to find my own apartment and move out of my mother's home. And that was the pivotal moment where I started to come into my own, and having a physical disability wasn't necessarily the first thing on my mind. It was more like I was on the go to try to gain independence outside of having, an apartment. I needed to make sure that I had the right education in order to pursue, a career. And I went full head on to different resources that were available to me at the time to achieve the education I do have today. And thankfully, I've been blessed with a wonderful support system who has embraced me for who I am. And because of this great support, I am now seen for who I am, opposed to the wheelchair I utilize to navigate the world, right? And so that's just a little bit about my background. What else can I share? Well, I also I have a beautiful daughter, and through her, she is 9 years old. Trinity is absolutely the best component on the planet. She is intelligent, and through her, I've been able to really navigate what I wanted as a child that I didn't receive. So I feel like I'm changing the narrative for her. And one of the things that I started doing, she was about a year old when I like went full head on in teaching her how to read. By the time she was 3.5, she could pick up a book and say to you, this is what it says. And then I started teaching her, okay, now that you know what it says, let's start really breaking it down so you understand, the bigger picture. And being honest with you, through her, I've read children's books for the first time that perhaps the rest of the world thinks I should have read as a child. But education and reading wasn't something that was spoken about in my home. And I think in part that was because my mother um, was in survival mode as a teenage parent. And because of her own mental health issues, she didn't have the capacity to really enforce maybe what, folks think you should receive as a child. So through Trinity, I, we've built a library full of books, and she is the driving force to the idea of, maybe I should collaborate with you beautiful ladies to compose a chapter so that in the future, I can leave just a little bit of my legacy, to her, and she'll have the book the chapter and the book as a whole as a guide and reference to who I am as a person.
Wow, that I'm just like I'm very, what is the word that I'm looking for? I'm so connected to your story because when you said your mom was in survival mode, I mean, literally, that's how I was raised as well. So that connection piece, in terms of not having the stories read, a lot of the children's books, I can relate totally. It was like, I didn't learn about a lot of the children's books you were supposedly, what should have read or somebody should have read to you until I got
Mm-hmm.
And again, same thing in terms of trying to change the trajectory as it pertains to my own children and saying, okay, you know what, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to establish a foundation of literacy with my own kids because, both my mom my mom and dad weren't married. And then my dad, when I met him, same kind of thing, just again, typical Black parents, in America, scratching and surviving, okay, doing what they can to raise the
And
family. And it's almost like, I don't know, you all tell me, does it seem like reading was considered like a luxury? Like, when you hear about people like, you understand what I'm saying? It's
I
almost
do.
like, Yeah, it's like, okay, you'll have people, they'll talk about, oh yeah. And a lot of times, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of times when I would hear about folks who were read to, these were folks, a lot of times they came from families that were, they didn't necessarily were affluent, but they definitely had more money that we had when we were growing up. So middle class or upper middle class or whatever. And these were people who did not come from our communities either. They didn't look like us. So a lot of times when I would hear about, families or, somebody talking about, oh yeah, I was read to, and, we were taken to the library. I didn't really hear about that within our communities. So I'm glad that, by you being intentional about saying, okay, I'm going to change that for my daughter. That right there, again, this is what I want our people to hear, because you do not have to stay in the same situation that you're in if it's not serving you well, if it's not going to take you to that next level and elevate you and make your life better. Yeah.
This is why I think it was so important for me to move out of the house. And don't get me wrong, I am absolutely grateful for everything that my mother was able to do for me.
Yes.
But I always knew that what she was able to do for me came to a limit, you know? And so I needed to find the resources and assistance and community support, in other directions, because I knew she's not going to be able to provide me with that. So how can I ensure that I receive that, without necessarily being offended by, towards her because of whatever she lacked to, give me as a child. And now I think, I have a greater appreciation for who she is, because although maybe the rest of the world, the folks around us who grew up amongst us, saw her in that survival mode, not thinking maybe she needs to be supported in order to be able to support me, you know. And again, I was born in the early 80s, so that's a different era all by itself, right? There were so many things going on at that time where it's like, oh man, you know, and she had just turned 18 when she became pregnant with me. So it's like, what do you tell this, teenage girl, and to share just a little bit bigger insight into my story, my biological father, my understanding was that he was 30 years of age when he became involved with my mother. And him and I never met. And unfortunately, I learned in 2008 that he passed away. So I never got to meet him face to face and see who the other half of me is, right? And so one of the things that I always said to myself, I want to make sure that if I ever have children, if I could help it, I would like to have a two-parent family home, because I want to be able to change what, that trajectory in terms of what I had. And again, she did a great job. Look, I'm alive, I'm well, I'm thriving, and she's very proud of that, right? But it was a very difficult time. And I'm happy that now I'm able to support her, in watching me do what I do.
I love it.
Love
I
it.
love
Oh, that beautiful, 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 beautifully said. I want
Thank
to
you.
ask, yes, I want to ask you, in starting to get ready to wrap things up, what could someone get when they read your chapter? What what are some takeaways that you would say that somebody who's dealing with it, it may not even be the same situation, but it could be whatever it is that they're dealing with, right? Because they're looking, they're like, hey, healed, empowered, resilient, they're looking to get that. So what can they gain from your chapter? And tell everybody the title of your chapter too, please.
So my chapter is Advocacy Through Adversity, the essence of who I am. And it, just to share a little bit, it shares my experience with education and how I overcame some of those stigmas and struggles that I experienced at the time. And I think what people will get from this particular chapter is that, you should never give up, right? There's always room for you to improve. And as long as you have the support, which is very important, and you uh, keep that mindset that you can do anything, you will achieve success. And understand that success for each of us looks different, right? We do not, although we may share similar experiences, our backgrounds may be entirely different. And so the takeaway from reading my particular chapter, chapter 3, um, is keep strong, thrive, understand that success starts with the way you see yourself. And if you don't see yourself in that light just yet, understand that you can reach out to resources so that you can get the assistance you need so that you can get to that place where success is a possibility.
I love it. I love it. And I know the audience is loving this as well because both of you ladies are being very, vulnerable, authentic, because this is what people are looking for now. People are getting really, really tired of folks just being fake. That's why I noticed, like, even in social media, I don't know if you guys pick this up. It's like people gravitate a lot of times to those videos where people are like, I mean, something as simple as they're cooking for their family and their house is not all put together. They may have just kind of got out the bed or whatever the case may be, but you'll see these are the videos they'll go viral.
Yeah.
And it's like, because people, it's almost like people are craving, they're starving for people to just keep it real, keep it a buck. They're like, listen, I don't have it all together. And people, sometimes they get tired of looking at social media and they'll see people, everything is together. And it seems as though, because we know folks, they curate what they put out. Okay. For real. And, and I think this is something that people will definitely, I know they will. People will definitely gravitate to our book because of the transparency, the vulnerability, us being authentic. It's not like we're divulging and talking about all the different things and going to every single detail, but we're telling enough to give you a little bit of insight as to, look, we're human too. We've had these issues, we had these setbacks, and guess what? We're still, like Val said, keeping it moving. And so I want us to, definitely people, for those of you who are listening, even though our target audience, yes, we have already made that clear. It's for the young ladies, to our wise women. However, my brothers out there, you guys can benefit from this book as well. For the women in your life, whether it's your mother, your wife, your daughters, whoever, if you just want to gift it, to the women in your life, that would be beautiful. So I'm hoping that, all folks, who are looking for that book, where they can get some type of assistance, some type of great gems and jewels to help them get over their trials that they're dealing with, and they're ready to go to that next level. Definitely our book is what you need in your hands. So I thank both of you. You guys, this was great. It was there.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Would you all, I was thinking about this. Would you all like to read a snippet from your chapter? If you guys want to, I think that would be great, kind of like a little teaser, if you will.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I already have it highlighted.
Okay, you can go first. I'm gonna find a good one.
It's a very, very short piece, but I think it opens the door for a bigger conversation. So this particular piece of the book reads, the best of me is still to come. I am here to emphasize that nothing about us without us, whether at the table or creating space where none exists, we must share our platforms for the greater good. Together we shall rise, one person at a time.
Wow. That was powerful. Oh, wow. And all the while when you're reading it, I'm just thinking about us, right? Us here right now, and then all of us together writing this book. That's the thoughts that came to my mind. Just beautiful. Thank you. Ooh, that was
You're welcome. Miss Valerie, before you take the floor, because I know you're gonna, put the stamp on it.
Right.
Okay. Um, I wanted to share that I'm in agreement with you. Sometime back during the photo shoot that we had as a group, you said that you were ready for a part two together. If and when that comes to fruition, I am ready. Okay.
Yes, yes, good. Yes, yes. So, um, you know, stuff happens, right? And so it's so important to have a plan.
Mm.
So I'm going to read to you the introduction into the workbook section that I have in my chapter. And it says, every individual should have a game plan for their life. Just as you set goals at work for your company, you should also establish objectives and targets for your personal life. Be prepared to face challenges as you pursue your life's goals. It's important to remember that those who supported you in the past may not be there as you advance to the next level. So you'll need to be comfortable building a new support system, as Christy mentioned, including family, allies, and coworkers.
Hmm.
So in this book, I ask you to lay out your foundational pieces for your life. Like, what are the key things for you? And I give you two methods of doing it. So it's like a little workbook.
Yep.
And then we step through like each phase. And I recommend taking some time. I mean, you spend so many hours and we do so much of that. Set your goals, what's your priorities, blah, blah, blah for work. Do it for yourself and know that your priorities are going to change. Like in your 20s, your priorities are going to be one thing, but in your 50s, 60s, 70s, it's going to be something else. So you're going, life is fluid, right? So just know that, but always have a plan and just know not everything goes according to plan, right? And be okay to roll with it.
Yep.
It's okay. Roll with it. And if you don't have a plan, you don't. But at least you start thinking about what is it that you want to do. What I don't want, what I really don't want is for people to say, one day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to do that. And you look back and it's 10 years later and you're still in the same spot. Don't do that. As a community, we have to get better. We have to get better.
Well,
Just keep moving forward no matter what you do.
mm. And then with how your dad, how he always told y'all, right? That's right. Keep moving forward. That is beautiful. That these are the gems, y'all. I'm telling y'all, y'all need this book. This book right here will absolutely change your life. Okay?
Get
You
the
hear me?
crown.
Get the crown. Get the crown. All right, this is the crown you need, okay?
Yes, yes.
Healed, empowered, resilient, y'all. It's on Amazon right now. It's on Amazon right now. Please go grab your copy, okay? Y'all need it in your life. So I want to say this. Thank you. Thank you so much, Val. Thank you, Christy. Y'all are just dope. I am
Welcome.
y'all just don't know how full my heart is. I am so grateful. I say, alhamdulillah, all praises due to God that Asia brought to me the idea of having, being a part of the author's master class. I mean, I had already was thinking about writing a book as something I wanted to do, but doing it this way, I think this right here, this really helped me. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm like, bouncing off ideas and, connecting with other women. And it was just like amazing. So I'm just so grateful that I did it this way, first. So I just want to say I appreciate both of you all for being a guest on Real Reading Talk. Mwah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so now, everybody, once again, you have been tuning in to another episode of Real Reading Talk. Again, I am your most gracious host, Ms. Sasha. And with Real Reading Talk, we discuss the real systemic issues at the very core, the very foundation, as to why we have these high levels of illiteracy in our Black and underserved communities, and the ways in which we can combat these issues together. Thank you all again for listening. And remember, Reading is freedom. Peace. All right. And once again, you guys, I hope you all enjoyed that episode. And as a reminder, make sure you grab your copy of the book, y'all. You need this book, and we have it available for you on Amazon. All right. Also, if you are looking for that pre-K through fourth grade reading tutor, your baby needs that reading support. They are struggling with phonemic awareness, phonics, comprehension, fluency, vocabulary, then you need to go to my website, abclearntutoring.com, and click on the free reading assessment today. I am also an Orton Gillingham certified dyslexia tutor. So if your child is dealing with dyslexia or dysgraphia, and they have been diagnosed with those, then you need to have me on your team. All right. So again, go to abclearntutoring.com. And of course, as you all know, I am the founder and executive director of ABC Read, the nonprofit organization that has been giving out books, having dope reading experiences, having literacy workshops, and book clubs. Okay, go to our website, abcread.org, check us out, and please, we accept any donations. And make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Reading is Freedom. The episode will be uploaded there. I have a multitude of read alouds for your child, especially if you don't have time to read to your child. Hey, listen, put that device to good use. Go to my YouTube channel, Reading is Freedom. Make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I created Reading is Freedom. All right. So I have a website, readingisfreedomshop.com, where you can choose to get your mug. You can grab your shirt just like I got on. You got your hoodie, your sweatshirts. Go ahead so that we can continue to promote this message of reading, literacy, how it is a necessity. It's not an option. All right. Reading is something that we should be doing all the time. All right. And of course, like I told you all before, grab your copy, y'all, of the book. Okay, it's on Amazon. Go ahead. It will be a $25 worth spent, because remember, when you are getting books, that's an investment. This is something that is going to carry on for generations to generations. When you are reading those words and you are making the changes that you need in your life, all right? And then you are imparting it to your progeny or the young people that you are in contact with. So I thank you all again for listening. And I just want to share with you all the book that I just finished, which is Phil Whedon's a memoir, I Can't Stop Now, I Gotta Live. Phenomenal book. I highly recommend that you go ahead and get your copy of that book. And then I want to leave you all with the quote by Frederick Douglass, in which he said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." And so, of course, this applies to women as well. All right. So remember that. All right. Be intentional about breaking those generational trauma, curses that we have adapted in our community and try to say that it's a part of our culture. No, it is time to discard it immediately. So I thank you all again for listening to another episode of Real Reading Talk. I am your most gracious host, Ms. Seisha. And remember, reading is freedom. And please keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. Peace.